In the past, we've gone over quite a few of the Sierra Online series, Quest for Glory, King's Quest, and such. There's one that has some rather interesting turns and uses that we haven't talked much about, mostly because I didn't really play the series much as a kid. But today it's time to talk about the Police Quest series. I'm Ollamh, and welcome to Geek Trivia. The series originally got its release in 1987 and was produced by Jim Walls, a retired police officer. He was asked to take part in the series by Ken Williams, who wanted to make sure they had some legitimacy and realism to the series. There were actual situations that Walls himself had lived through in his career in law enforcement. The first game starts off with the player taking control of Officer Sonny Bonds, currently assigned to traffic duty in the town of Lighton, California. And no, don't go looking it up on Google Maps or anything. The town does not actually exist. The morning briefing informs everyone that there is a cocaine problem in the small town. And of note, a 1983 black Cadillac has been reported stolen. Obviously, things are pretty quiet in the town when a single car being stolen is a big note in the briefing. In the course of his day, Bonds writes speeding tickets, deals with rowdy bikers, and starts the investigation into a car wreck with a dead drug dealer. After his shift, he goes to a friend's retirement party to find out that the friend's daughter is on drugs. Sadly, there isn't much Bonds can do as he is taking a shift for someone else and needs to get right back to work. Bonds finds the stolen car along with the man who killed the drug dealer. Thus he gets promoted, for the time being, to narcotics. He finds out the name of the major drug dealer in town, Jesse Baines, also known as the Death Angel. Going undercover with the aid of a prostitute, Marie Wilkins, Bonds goes through proper steps and the criminal is brought down. A year later, we revisit Lighton and find out that Bonds has been promoted to the homicide division. But things do not go well as Baines is brought back into town for trial, but escapes and takes a guard hostage. While investigating, Bonds and his partner, Keith Robinson, get called to the riverside and have a shootout with Baines, who escapes. Bonds finds the body of the guard in the river, and it's discovered that Baines has taken the guard's identity and fled. After his shift, Bonds goes out on a dinner date with Marie Wilkins, who he has started dating after she helped him with his undercover work, and he arranged the dismissal of prostitution charges against her. The next day, Woody Roberts, the bartender from the Hotel Delphoria, and witness in the Baines trial is found dead. The evidence at the scene leads Bonds and his partner to a motel where they finally figure out that Baines is on kind of a revenge kick. Bonds rushes to Marie's house and finds signs of a struggle and Marie gone. To further corroborate their thoughts, there is a hit list naming people Baines intends to take revenge on, including Bonds himself. Heading to Steelton to chase after Baines, Bonds heads into the sewers to chase after him. With a final shootout, Bonds kills Baines and saves Marie. This game actually had two endings. If Bonds shoots before Baines does, the review board determines that he acted recklessly, thus violating the law, and is dismissed from the police force. If Baines shoots first, then the board rules that Bond acted in self-defense, he is decorated by the department, and he takes off for the Bahamas with Marie, who he proposes to on the plane. It took 3 years for the next game to come out, and several things have happened. Sonny and Marie have gotten married. Sonny is now Sergeant, Layton has expanded into a full-fledged city and has the crime rate to match. It is also the first game in the series to use the point-and-click interface. Due to a shortage of officers, Bonds is assigned to highway patrol and deals with some drivers, including a very slow driver, a speeder, and a drunk driver. While at work, Marie is stabbed and left in a coma, and Sonny is assigned to investigate the crime. During the investigation, Sonny visits his wife, must give her things to bring her back, and keep an eye on her medication and charts. The investigation takes on a lot of different twists and turns, such as a cocaine cartel operating in Layton, a satanic cult of which the serial killer who attacked Marie is part of, a corrupt partner in the police force, and finally the appearance of Michael Baines. That's right, the killer is the brother of Jesse Baines, who Bond shot in the last game. Thankfully, the internal affairs officer is there to take care of the corrupt officer at the end. This was the last game in the series by Jim Walls, though in 1989 he also worked on the espionage game codename Iceman. This was one that, like the original 3 Police Quest games, gave extra points for proper procedures, such as performing CPR properly, or before boarding the submarine saluting the flag, walking up the gangplank, saluting the officer, and then handing him your orders. Iceman didn't do as well as the Police Quest series, so never got a sequel. Police Quest 4 took a completely different style. Instead of Jim Walls, it was created by retired police chief Daryl F. Gates, previously of the Los Angeles Police Department. You play as homicide detective John Carey. You are in LA rather than Layton, and it has much more mature themes. There are crimes on children, hate crimes, neo-Nazis, and much more realism compared to previous games. Carey finds his best friend and ex-partner, Bob Hickman, murdered on the scene of a shootout. But there's also the body of an 8-year-old child, Bobby Washington. After 5 more people are murdered, mutilated, and found in public settings, Carey tracks down the killer. He must piece together clues, research just about everything on the police database, and even manufacture SWAT-style gear with seemingly random things he collects. This game was much more controversial as it portrayed a lot of characters as extremely stereotypical use of jive talk. Gates stated that while he was credited as the game's author, he did not write the game's storyline or dialogue. Instead, it was actually Tammy Dargan that penned the story. Dargan was formerly segment producer for America's Most Wanted. This was also the last game in the series that featured the more normal Sierra format of adventure gaming. The following game, Police Quest SWAT, was more of an interactive strategy video game. You can learn a lot of things about the function of a SWAT department, such as sniper training, commanding a team, designations for building plans, and code words and hand signals used. This game was really the last semblance towards an adventure game. After this, it was much more action-based, up to the point of becoming basically a first-person shooter. Several of the games were used, at least in part, as training for some police departments. Mostly they were used for teaching proper procedures such as when to use force, write tickets, and proper booking procedures. The series was attempted to be brought back by Jim Walls, but crowdfunding attempts were never successful enough to move the projects forward. With the revitalizing of the King's Quest series, I think it might be a matter of time before the Police Quest series sees a new light. Though I'm not sure what the reception of the games would be in the world with severe distrust between police and public. So what do you think about the Police Quest series? Do you think it's something that, if brought back, might help with understanding between the police and public? Or should it stay in the past where things were a bit easier between the two parties? Would you play remakes if they became available? Leave a comment down below, shoot us a tweet, or post to our Facebook page and let us know what you think of the series. As always, thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more from Ollamh Productions.
If you wanna see some
Cheerio!
and also lazy, then you should meet me and my friends. Even though we got no money, for sure it's so funny. Yeah, everything's better with them. We're just like ooh, ooh.
Really? You can't afford actual sound effects, Death?
And I really can't think of anybody that is just more perfect to play a young Billy D. Williams. He really kind of has that look. You can